Hey everybody, it's James 28439 here. Welcome to Elevator Class, Episode 5 on Otis Elevator Fixtures. Before we continue, we need to give out 3 shout-outs to 3 special people. One of them is TKE Fan29, another is Accelevations for You, and the other is Windy City Elevators. They sent me pictures that I'm using on this episode. Thank you guys so much for sending them to me. I really appreciate it, and this episode probably wouldn't be possible without you guys. Thank you. Let's get started now. Take note that this lesson does not include Otis hand crank, automatic, or solenoid fixtures. We'll start with black buttons. Black buttons were produced from the 1930s to 1980s. And look at the 4-1 black button. You can see that there's no light on it, and that's because older buttons back in the day didn't have lights on them when you would press the button. Here's an Otis black button call station. It's got an arrow that lights up when you press the button. So when you press the button, the arrow would light up, telling you the call has been placed and the elevator is on its way. Touch-sensitive buttons were made from 1948 to 1970s. Here's a 4-1 touch-sensitive button that's lit up. How these work is when a finger comes in contact with the button due to heat, the button will light up and place the call either on a hall station or, in this case, for the first floor, which, as you can also see, they light up orange. Lexan, however you want to pronounce it, was produced from the 1960s to 1989. Here's a Lexan call button. As you can see, it's got an orange circle around it that lights up when you press it. They light up orange, and fun fact, if you find one that lights up red, that is kind of rare, so keep that in mind. Here's a Lexan COP, which stands for Car Operating Panel. As you can see, second floor is lit up. And Lexan is most likely a false term. Now, this next fixture we're going to look at is called white Lexan. It's very, very rare, and there's only 2 known installations in the US of it. Here's what it looks like. White Lexan fixtures, and it's very rare, like I said, and white Lexan is probably also a false term as well. Get one good look at those fixtures, because you may never see them in real life. That's how rare they are. An IEE indicator from the 1960s to 1980s. IEE stands for Industrial Electronic Engineers. This indicator has a feature where the lights fade and then they reappear when the elevator gets to the floor, which is pretty cool. Here's an edge-lit indicator from the 1970s. As you can see, the light lights up for the floor. If you look at it, you'll be able to see the other floors as well. I can trace out the second floor light on it. I'll do it with my mouse. I can see it. You will have to look closely if you want to be able to see it. But this edge-lit indicator is found in an elevator cab, and it's pretty rare. Let's look at a fixture you guys are probably all familiar with, Series 1. There's 2 versions of it, older Series 1 and newer Series 1. The older Series 1 has green door open and door close buttons and a yellow alarm bell. Also, it does have a stop switch too. Newer elevators do not have that stop switch, so people won't play around with them. These buttons do not stick out like the newer Series 1s. These are a bit more flat with the panel. Here's an older Series 1 call station with the indicator on it as well, and these buttons also don't stick out. Notice how there's also a red, and there's a plastic red square that surrounds fire service key switch, so that way it indicates fire service for firefighters, which I think is a really cool feature. Here's an older indicator. Could be red or green, and this specific indicator can only have 4 floors on it at the most, so 4-1 would be there, 4-2 would be there, the 3rd, and then the 4th. Anything that has 5 or more floors will have a digital indicator. You'll get to see that in a second under the newer Series 1 section. This indicator can be seen on newer Series 1s as well, because I have come across a few. Older Series 1 up and down lantern, and the reason why it's older Series 1 is because it has a darker green color. The newer Series 1 lanterns will have a lighter green color, and this color can either be red or green, or orange, which orange is very rare. So if you find it, it's a treasure. Newer Otis Series 1 from 1993 to 2006. As you can see, the buttons stick out. No stop run switch, it's keyed. The door open, door close, and alarm bells are white. Here's the indicator. This can be used on older Series 1 as well if it has 5 or more floors. Normally you'll see this on newer Series 1 elevators. Here's another version of the COP. It's a little bit different, but it is still newer Series 1. And here's a newer Series 1 up-down lantern. And it's newer because the lighter green color is not as dark as the older Series 1 was. Let's move on to Otis Vanity from 1994 to 2006. These were sent to me by Windy City Elevators. Thank you. These are all COPs. I don't have any call stations. I apologize for that. Notice how these ones have the labels written on the buttons, and then these don't have anything written on the buttons, which I find interesting. Let's look at Series 2. Series 2 was produced from 1990 to 2013. Now, something to note about this Series 2 button, a lot of people think it's Series 4. It is not. TKE Fan has confirmed that from an Otis document. Well, I don't know if it's by Otis, but it has common Otis fixtures, and these are actually Series 2. And it's because it's a flush mount indicator. Now, here's an Otis Series 2 COP. Now, the buttons can light up red or green. Green is rare, because it's not common. However, I have seen a few elevators around my area that do have green buttons. And this picture, this is one of the ones I took. This one has green buttons. Here's an indicator with the directional arrow right there. Here's another indicator. As you can see, it's red, and it's got the up-down status right there. Now, what's cool about this one, what's interesting about these, I should say, is these square indicators, like you may see them green, and they may look like Series 1. However, if it's just the square indicator, and if it's got that square indicator and it has the number on it, it's not Series 1, it's actually Series 2, which I kind of find interesting, because I would definitely have thought it would have been Series 1, since Series 1 uses that on some of their hall indicators. Like, for example, a Series 1 indicator may have that little square, but it may also have the up-down lantern connected to it. That would be Series 1. If you just see one like this outside the car with no up-down lantern connected to it, Series 1 style, then it would be Series 2. However, it's got like the circle up and down indicator, then that would be Series 2. Cred TKE Fan on that one as well. And here's Series 4, produced for the same amount of time, 1990 to 2013. This is Series 4 because it's a surface mount. Surface mount ones stick out more, as you can see in this picture. And the only difference between it, as I just said, was that Series 2 uses flush mount call stations as seen in the Series 2 section, and Series 4 uses surface mount as seen in the picture. And Series 4 can use the same COPs as Series 2. So really, the only way to tell difference is just looking at the call station. Let's look at Series 3/Luxury, which was made for 3 years, 1989 to 1992. Here's the luxury call stations. Notice it's also kind of like surface mount. And here are the buttons. Luxury is the name of this call station because of the way it looks, and the buttons are Series 3. Now we'll look at Series 5. Series 5 was produced from 2005 to 2012, and the Series 5 call station will sometimes have Series 2 call stations instead. And it's not common to see, or it is, it is really common to see Series 2 call stations on Series 5. Here's the indicator for Series 5. You can see it's got, some of them have a call cancel button right here. Some of them have a locked cabinet. Here's a Series 5 lantern. This is referred to as an egg lantern. Here's a digital indicator on Series 5, which could be red or green. Now we're going to go into Series 6, which was made for 2 years, and this term is most likely a false one because it could be a pre-Series 5, because you'll see it's got a black COP, however, it kind of looks similar to Series 5. We don't know the exact name of it. A lot of us call it Series 6, so that's what we'll call it in this episode. Series 6 will use Series 5 call stations as well. Here's a Series 6 COP with light fan, stop run key switches here, and the phone, which is built in as well. Credit to Accelevations for you for these pictures. Series 7/newer Series 2 and 4, which started production in 2011, and they are still made today. We don't know the exact name. There has been a big debate about, is it Series 7 or is it newer Series 2/4? We don't know exactly, so any kind of answer or any kind of name for these would be considered correct. So 7 or newer Series 2/4 would be considered correct until we can find out the real name. It's got a blue hall directional indicator, which could also be inside the cab, or there could be both, because I have seen a few elevators where they have the indicator, the up-down indicator outside, but it's also inside the cab as well. Here's the 4 indicator inside the cab. It's got a blue background and the number lights up in white. And here's the COP, typically with blue buttons. Now we'll move on to Otis's modernization fixture, which is called Series M2 or 4, M2 or M4, which started production in 2008 and it's still in production today. And this fixture is only used for modernizations. You will never see new installations using these fixtures. Here's the M2 blue indicator. Here's an M2 COP. Now, to tell the difference between M2 or M4, it's going to be just like Series 2 or 4. You want to check the call stations. Flush mount, flat up against the wall, is going to be Series 2, M2, and surface mount is going to be Series M4. Now, there's 5 colors, that these can light up in. This could either be red, green, blue, white, or amber. And that's it. So that's M2 and M4, as you guys saw. That's really it for this episode. Those are the Otis fixtures. Make sure to take the quiz. Get a 7 out of 10 to pass. It is recommended that you try to take the quiz without using the notes. However, if you want to, I guess that's okay. I can't stop you guys from doing that anyway. However, if you want to be able to memorize all this stuff, try taking the quiz without using the notes. Good luck to you all, and I hope you guys pass. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.